Star Tours rules. Specifically the one at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's the only one I've ever been on. There's also a Star Tours ride at Disneyland, Tokyo Disney, and Disneyland Paris. Star Tours at Disney's Hollywood Studios rules. It's this wacky, fun, silly mismatch of random Star Wars stuff that says, hey canon, what's canon? Let's just have some good old-fashioned fun. One second you'll be pod racing, and the next you'll be flying through a billion Star Destroyers as seen in Rise of Skywalker. You might fly to Coruscant, you might fly to Jakku or Hoth or Kashyyyk. Cassian Andor might pop up, Ahsoka might pop up, Rey might pop up. Star Tours traverses Star Wars space and time. It didn't always used to be like that though. Star Tours has gone through a lot of changes over the decades. Allow me to gush all over and share some history of this insanely fun ride for the next however long this video is. Hey! Wash your hands. We have annual passes to Disney World, and I have been noticing something every time I go to the bathroom. A huge percentage of dudes just pee and walk out. Walk right out of the bathroom. Like a huge percentage of men just go Durr, and decide to walk right past the sink as they turned around from the urinal. You were literally just grabbing your gungan and maybe getting pee-pee hands and you just walked out? Are you a baby? Then you touched the handrails. You touched the cup lids. You touched the rides. Getting your gross germs all over everything all because you're a toddler. Wash your fucking hands, you child. Disney World has to statistically be one of the most germ-infected locations on the planet. Wash your hands. Why do I always go on these random tangents? Star Tours! Star Tours at Hollywood Studios, or Disney MGM as it was once called, has gone through a ton of changes since it opened up in 1989. I never knew this, but it's not just called Star Tours anymore. The ride shut down in 2010 for a major overhaul, and it reopened in 2011 under the name Star Tours: The Adventure Continues. So on the Wikipedia page for Star Tours, it says it closed in 2010 and was replaced by Star Tours: The Adventure Continues, like it's a completely different thing. That's interesting to me. If you rode Star Tours in the 90s like I did, your memory of how it used to be might be a little fuzzy. I knew it used to be different, but my memory was fuzzy. My memory was fuzzy until I started looking up some stuff for this video and was hit with so many images and clips and sounds that completely unlocked deep brain memories of how Star Tours used to be. Like this, for example. This little clip used to play over your head as you waited for the ride doors to open. Seeing this just brought back a flood of childhood memories. I hadn't seen this clip in decades. In the original boarding safety video, park guests and aliens about to go on a fun adventure. Another thing that I hadn't seen in decades, and it kind of blew me away. The ride once featured RX-24, also known as Captain Rex, a droid character voiced by Paul Rubens. You know, modern Star Tours, there's a bunch of different locations and storylines and characters and whatnot, but back in the day, there was only one single storyline on repeat. In the original story, Captain Rex made a bumbling mistake, crashing out of the maintenance bay door, slamming into the control room. You end up in space, you jump to light speed, end up in a comet cluster. You encounter a Star Destroyer. You accompany the Rebel Alliance during an assault on the third Death Star. Yes, the third Death Star. The third Death Star was canon at one point, and its first and only canon appearance was on Star Tours. You help the Rebel Alliance destroy the Death Star 3, and you make it back to the spaceport safe and sound after colliding with the fuel truck and the hangar. A goofy, bumbling, fun little adventure with Paul Rubens as your guide. Before Star Tours at Disneyland opened, a press kit was released. There was also a TV special that aired around the time that the ride opened. It showed guests on the ride, clips from the ride, an interview with George Lucas, ILM personnel. The TV special was hosted by C-3PO, Anthony Daniels himself. It's a great watch. If you get the time, it's definitely a blast from the past. As much as I have a lot of nostalgia for the way the ride used to be, I think what makes Star Tours special is its ability, almost 4 decades later, to update and try to stay relevant. They're still adding things to the ride. I wrote it a few days ago. We were at Disney. I wrote it on July 19th. And guess who popped up? Cassian Andor. Characters from brand new Star Wars shows appear. New planets appear. They're still adding to the ride. And that's amazing to me. Look, is Star Tours technically as good as Rise of the Resistance? No. No way. Rise of the Resistance is an amazing achievement. It's mind-blowing how good that ride is. But Star Tours just captures the fun and adventure, the whimsical nature, the anything goes of Star Wars, and it doesn't take itself too serious. It's goofy, it's playful, it encourages everyone to embrace the silly side of Star Wars, if you will. It's lighthearted, and I love it. One thing I've always loved about it is kind of how when you're in line for Star Tours, you're kind of in like a little airport, and it's silly, and there's a robot that's going through luggage, and you see kind of like travel brochures or like travel informational videos, and it's just kind of like a hub of destination traveling. It's just, I don't know, like, come aboard, fly with us, we'll take you to the exotic locations. It's just fun. It's just fun, man. And when I think about going on Star Tours at Hollywood Studios, aka Disney's MGM as a kid, one of the most vivid memories I have is exiting the ride and going to the gift shop. It was like entering a wonderland of all your favorite things, unlike anywhere else you would ever been. An entire store devoted to everything Star Wars. You just wanted to look at everything, touch all the action figure boxes. Those are some of my favorite memories. I can remember getting like a Micro Machine Imperial shuttle in the Star Tours gift shop. I can remember that to this day. It was incredible to walk out and be surrounded by all that stuff. And that's kind of why last time we went to Hollywood Studios, only a few days ago, and rode Star Tours, I had this burning urge to get something. I'm not a collector. I never buy anything at Disney parks. Again, you know, we have annual passes. We live 2 hours from the parks. We go all the time. And I don't think I've honestly ever bought anything at a Disney park as an adult other than a beer. I don't care about any of that stuff. It's not my thing. But this time I had this burning desire, this urge. And then I saw this die-cast Star Speeder from the ride, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting that. So now this little memory of a fun ride sits in my home office. In 1998, an upgrade was planned for Star Tours. It was going to feature new flights, the Boonta Eve pod race. The new version was going to be 3D, which the original version was not. Ultimately, this plan was scrapped. In April of 2005, George Lucas confirmed that a new version of Star Tours was in the works. During pre-production of the new version, Imagineers wanted guests to visit Hoth during the Imperial Walker assault. The idea was initially scrapped because it would interfere with the attraction's placement in the Star Wars timeline. They wanted to adhere to canon, but George Lucas requested that the battle sequences be left in, even if it meant breaking the Star Wars canon. Lucas offered the possibility that there was perhaps an earlier scuffle between the Rebel and Imperial forces on the planet before the Empire Strikes Back. And I love that. Putting fun before the restrictions of canon. That's George Lucas. In 2010, Star Tours at Disney World was closed for a complete overhaul. The new version of the ride would feature high-definition video, a Dolby 3D high-definition screen, an upgraded motion simulator, and several new special effects. And instead of Captain Rex being your pilot, C-3PO would now be your pilot. Anthony Daniels returned to portray the character through motion capture and voice. Star Tours, now called Star Tours The Adventure Continues, reopened in Disney World on May 20th, 2011. Over the years, they've added new characters from the new movies and the new shows, locations from new movies and new shows. They've continuously updated and changed things for a modern audience. What's really cool is that when you sit down You don't know who or what you will see. You don't know where you will go on this adventure. There are 26 random segments on the ride, 5 opening segments, 5 primary destinations, 10 hologram message segments, and 6 ending destination segments. When you combine all of those random segments that you might get, it equates to 1,500 different possible ride experiences. And segments are selected randomly without considering the chronological order of the Star Wars timeline. I just have so much love and nostalgia for Star Tours, and I think it's amazing that all these years later it still maintains a little bit of relevancy. I mean, a little bit, right? The wait is never long. We go to Disney World all the time, and typically the standby line is like 10 minutes max. So it's not popular. It's not the biggest or the best or the newest. It is a relic, but it's still fun. Most people seem to just kind of bypass it, and I get that. It's been around forever. People want to ride the new stuff, of course. But I never go to Hollywood Studios without riding Star Tours at least once. It's just a must for me. Maybe it's just cheap nostalgia. Maybe it's me wanting to temporarily relive my childhood excitement. But that's all right. Isn't that what all of this stuff is about anyway?